2020 marks the end of an era of a legendary wrestler who made his debut 30 years this month, who ended his career in the spring of 2020. I'm talking about The Undertaker, one of the most legendary pro wrestlers, not just in WWE history, but in pro wrestling history, with his dark, mysterious character. He's one of the best athletic big men in pro wrestling history, who started a legendary streak at WrestleMania, who's in our presence for the last 30 years. So we're still keeping this Survivor Series train going. We're traveling 3 years into the future, into the 1990s, really the start of the 1990s. I'm talking about Survivor Series 1990 at the Harvick Civic Center, or right now it's called the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut, an hours away from Stamford, Connecticut, on the 22nd of November 1990. The attendance for the show was 16,000, and the pay-per-view buy rate for Survivor Series of 1990 is a 400,000 pay-per-view buys. You know, that is the biggest buy rate for a Survivor Series until 1998. So the commentators for the show are Gorilla Monsoon and Rowdy Roddy Piper. So this show is memorable for the debut of The Undertaker, one of the best debuts in pro wrestling history, and also one of the worst debuts of pro wrestling history. I'll get to the worst first. So the worst wrestling debut, not really of all time, one of the worst of all time, was the debut of the Gobbledygooker. Basically, he came out of a giant egg, you act like a turkey. I know it's Hector Guerrero in a mask. If you don't know, it's Eddie Guerrero's uncle in a turkey suit. I said to myself, that is one of the most stupidest, cheesiest gimmicks of all time. It didn't serve any purpose. I understand this show is in Thanksgiving in America, but yeah, this, I don't understand why I give WWE some props, but it didn't do anything. At least with Undertaker, he's a pro wrestler. This is just stupid. I don't know who come up with this idea. Let's have Hector Guerrero wearing a turkey suit. I think the two worst for me has to be, the Gobbledygooker debut and the Shockmaster debut in WCW in, I think it was in 1993. Anyway, I got the worst out of the way. Let's go to the opening match of Survivor Series. This is a 4-on-4. Yeah, and by the way, this is the 4th annual Survivor Series in history. I covered the very first one last weekend, and this is a 4-on-4. Yeah, over the years or decades, WWE always bounced around doing 4-on-4 Survivor Series matches and 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches. Anyway, so the first match to kick off Survivor Series of 1990, we got the very first Survivor Series match of the show. We got the Perfect Team versus the Warriors. Representing the Perfect Team, we got Mr. Perfect and Demolition. That is Axe, Smash, and Crush, taking on the Warriors. That is, at the time, the World Wrestling Federation Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, who just won the title from Hulk Hogan months ago at WrestleMania 6. I covered that show months ago in the spring. We got the Texas Tornado, who's at the time was the Intercontinental Champion. The Texas Tornado is Kerry Von Erich. And the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk. The match was decent. A decent, good Survivor Series match. The first person got eliminated was Crush. He got eliminated by the Ultimate Warrior. The Road Warriors, or at the time they were known as the Legion of Doom. I don't understand why. Just basically, I don't know why WWF didn't really got sued by DC, because you got the Legion of Doom, the superhero stuff from the comics. Anyway, so I'll call them the Road Warriors. Anyway, the Road Warriors and Demolition kind of brawl, and they got themselves disqualified. I think at the time, they were feuding. I don't think they had a one-on-one match. I don't think so. That couldn't draw a lot of money. Anyway, so Demolition and Road Warriors got eliminated. So the final competitors, the only survivor for Team Perfect, or the Perfect Team, is Mr. Perfect. And then the two survivors left in the Warriors team is the Ultimate Warrior and the Texas Tornado. Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado, got eliminated by Mr. Perfect by the Perfect Plex. The final two is Warrior and Perfect. Oh yeah, one more of the match. Basically, Warrior clothesline Bobby Heenan into the crowd. There were a lot of Weasel chants. You know, that's Bobby Heenan. He's the Weasel. You know, the chant Weasel, Weasel, Weasel. You know, that's another story for another time. Anyways, I think it had a history between Warrior and Heenan. You know, Heenan dressed up like a weasel. Anyway, so in the end, Warrior got the victory. He hits Perfect with the I almost say Perfect Plex, but he hit him with Warrior Splash. The save move, he eliminated Crush from earlier of this match to win this match for his team. And the advance into the main event of the show. We'll get to it a little bit later on. So, like I said, it was a decent match. Wasn't great, but I kind of like it. The fans were really into it. It was hot. Anyway, so moving on to the next Survivor Series match. The next Survivor Series match, next 4-on-4 Survivor Series match, we've got Dream Team versus the $1 Million Team. Represent the Dream Team is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Koko B. Ware, and the Hart Foundation, who at the time are the WWF Tag Team Champions. That is Bret Hart and Jim the Anthem Neidhart. Taking on, really representing the $1 Million Team are the $1 Million Man, the $1 Million Champion, Ted DiBiase Sr., the Honky Tonk Man, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and The Undertaker. You know, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, introduced The Undertaker. He's comping down the aisle by Brother Love. And also, yeah, months later, you know, he ditched Brother Love with Paul Bearer. Undertaker just came out wearing, you know, the black trench coat. Not a trench coat, he wear the black coat, black hat, the grey gloves, took off his hat. You know, he got that, the bags on his eyes. It looks like he's dead. Fans really shocked. This is like one of the best. He got that presence. You know, this dude could be one of the top stars in the next couple of decades. So, and also he had ginger hair. You know, he'll dye his head dark. Anyway, so the first person got eliminated was Koko B. Ware. Undertaker eliminated him with the Tombstone Power Driver. Then I think it was Neidhart eliminated. He eliminated Honky Tonk Man with a power slam, and then $1 Million Man eliminated Neidhart after the distraction by Virgil. Then I think it was it wasn't Dusty Rhodes. I think it was Greg the Hammer Valentine. He got eliminated by, I think it was by Bret. I think it was Valentine was going for the figure 4 leg lock. Bret countered into a small package to win this, not win this match, but eliminate Valentine. Undertaker eliminated Dusty Rhodes. I think it was an axe handle. It's very rare Undertaker does moves off the top rope. You know, years later, and until the rest of his career, he will do the old school. He did like this, an axe handle onto Dusty Rhodes, and yeah, Rhodes got eliminated, and then Undertaker got himself counted out. You know, he beat that, he chasing Dusty Rhodes. I don't understand why they did that, because Undertaker's not in the match. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, Valentine got eliminated after, Rhodes got eliminated, and also Undertaker got counted out. Sorry, my bad. So anyway, I don't understand why they did that. It put me off why Undertaker got eliminated, because he's not, in the ring. Don't get into it. So I think the final two is Ted DiBiase Sr. I'll call him the $1 Million Man for short. Yeah, the $1 Million Man and Bret. I thought Bret would win this match, but he didn't. In the end, Bret was going for like a crossbody, but DiBiase counted with a cradle to win this match. That was a shocking win. I thought Bret would win it, because I don't think this match hurt Bret. It really elevated Bret for the next couple of years, throughout the rest of the 90s. The following year he broke away from Neidhart, win the King of the Ring tournament, the his first singles belt against Mr. Perfect, and then win his first world championship in 1992, first of 5. I don't want to get into the WCW run. That's another story for another time. So So, basically, DiBiase advanced into that main event. Like I said, you have to wait until the end, or later on. Anyway, so yeah, the match was, I mean, it was solid, decent. It was good. You got future Hall of Famers like Dusty Rhodes, Coco Beware is a bit iffy, the Hart Foundation, the Million Dollar Man, Honky Tonk Man, and the Undertaker. So yeah, this was good, slightly good. I think that the one thing I call it the reason I give it 3.5. Undertaker got counted out for no reason because he's nowhere near in the ring. He was chasing Dusty Rhodes. I think he attacked Jimmy South. I think. Anyway, moving on to match number 3. That's the third Survivor Series match of the show. We got the Vipers taking on the Visionaries. So the Vipers, not like Randy Orton's Vipers. This is a team of Jake the Snake Roberts, Jimmy Snuka, and the Rockers. The Rockers are Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. Represent the Visionaries are Rick the Model Martel, the Powers of Glory, Diaz, Hernandez and Paul Roma, and the Warlord. So yeah, Marty Jannetty got eliminated by the Warlord because I almost say Wardlow, from AEW, but it's Warlord. Warlord eliminated Jannetty because Jannetty was going for I think it was going like a mini crossbody off the middle rope, but he counted into a power slam. Snuka got eliminated by Martel. I think it was the same thing, but yeah. So yeah, Snuka and Jannetty got eliminated. Shawn Michaels got eliminated by the Powers of Glory. I think it was a suplex off the top rope, followed up with a frog splash. The solo survivor, really the one team representing Team Viper, has to be Jake Roberts. I thought he eliminated the Warlord, but instead, Martel, I think he attempted to spray Roberts with his, I think it's called the Arrogant Spray, because at the time he was doing the Models gimmick. So Roberts basically teased like he got sprayed by the spray. He grabbed Davian, I think it was a python, chased after, I think it was Martel, and Jake the Snake Roberts is a dumbass, and he got counted out. So Team Mercenaries advance into the main event. So yeah, it makes Jake the Snake Roberts look like a dumbass. The match was okay. I don't say it was a bad match. I think the Raw team gone over. I thought like the team with Roberts and the Rockers will go through, but instead it was the heels. The 2 Survivor Series match on the show, the heels advance into the main event. So yeah, it wasn't bad, but it could be a lot better. I think it was you got the Visionary team. You got Rick Martel was okay. He was decent. Paul Roma also is a good worker. Besides that, the Wardlow and Hernandez are shit. They are shit. So moving on to the 4th Survivor Series match of the show, we got the Hulkamaniacs versus the Natural Disasters. So represent Hulkamaniacs is Hulk Hogan, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Big Boss Man, and Tugboat. Tugboat is the future Shotmaster in WCW. That's Fred Ottman. And representing the National Disasters are Earthquake, who's feuding with Hogan at the time, the Barbarian, Dino Bravo, and Haku. The original 4th member of the National Disasters is supposed to be Rick Rude, but unfortunately, in kayfabe, Rick Rude got suspended for basically insulting the Big Boss Man's mother. But I'm guessing Rude was feuding with the Big Boss Man at the time. But in reality, Rick Rude butt heads with Vince McMahon. He left the company over pay dispute. He'll come back years later in 1997, be part of DX, with Shawn Michaels and Triple H and China. He'll have a run with Herb Abens, UWF, and then Japan. He debuted in WCW. He had a good run in WCW, part of the Danger Alliance with Paul Heyman, becoming a world champion. So anyway, Haku is basically the replacement of Ravishing Rick Rude. The match, it was okay. I'm not saying the previous Survivor Series match and this Survivor Series match were bad. They weren't really bad matches. They were kind of okay. Just a standard Survivor Series match. Nothing special. compared to the first two, I think they were decent. Anyway, the first person got eliminated was Haku. You know, that almost beat Ravishing Rick Rude, but Haku got eliminated by Big Boss Man with the Big Boss Slam. I'm guessing Jim Duggan got disqualified. He kind of hit Earthquake with the 2x4. And Hulk Hogan eliminated Dino Bravo with I think it was a small package. It's very rare that Hogan doing small packages. I never saw him doing small packages in matches before. He mostly does like the punches, clothesline, big boot, leg drop. Anyway, let's see, yeah, the final two, anyway, Big Boss Man got eliminated by Earthquake, and then Earthquake and Tugboat got eliminated. You know, basically both got double counted out. I think they ended up forming a tag team, the National Disasters, and they end up becoming baby faces. Yeah, Earthquake, they tried to push Earthquake, but I'm glad they never pushed him, because this dude was not that good. Anyway, the final, really the sole survivor was Hulk Hogan. He eliminated the Barbarian, you know, hit him with the leg drop. He advanced into the main event, with alongside the Ultimate Warrior, taking on DiBiase, Martel, Powers of Glory, and the Warlord. Oh my god. Wait until the main event. Anyway, moving on to the I think it was the fifth Survivor Series match. Or I think it was fifth. Anyway, the next Survivor Series match, we got the Alliance. That is Nikolai Volkov, Tito Santana, and the Bushwhackers. That is Luke and Butch taking on the Mercenaries. That is Sergeant Slaughter. The Orient Express. That is Soto and Tanaka, and Boris Zukov. Originally, it was supposed to be Akeem, African Dream Akeem. Unfortunately, he left the company in October. He was kind of in his feud with Samba Simba, that is Tony Atlas. So yeah, Boris Zukov, he's taken really was a replacement for Akeem, the one-man gang. Zukov is American. I think he fought a Russian. This was at Wrestle Rock '86. He really spat at the Soviet Union flag at the time. And also 10 years later, he's a fucking kayfabe Russian. Anyway, and speaking of Zukov, Zukov got eliminated by Tito Santana with I think it was a flying forearm. I think it was Butch eliminated Soto. Then, I think Tanaka got eliminated by Santana. Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter, he came back this year. He came back in that year because he had 2 runs in the World Wrestling Federation. You know, he was good old USA Sergeant Slaughter. This time he come back as a heel. He's doing the whole Iraqi sympathizer, you know, waving the Iraqi flag. I think he had General Abnal, who feuded with Slaughter in the AWA. And also, and I think a year later he had Colonel Mustafi. Yeah, it will be the Iron Sheik. Anyway, back to this match. Slaughter basically eliminated Volkov. The Bushwhackers, before he eliminated Tito Santana, he locked Santana with the camel clutch. Unfortunately, he got himself disqualified because General Abner, you know, the manager of Sergeant Slaughter, basically hit Santana with the Iraqi flag. So Santana advanced into the main event. I'll get to it shortly. The match was a dud. I'm sorry, it was a dud. It's the shittiest match of the show. Basically, alongside with the only 2 relevant guys in that match, it has to be Slaughter and Santana. Besides that, hate the Bushwhackers. I like them as the Sheep Herders, but the Bushwhackers, they were more of a comedy act. Zukov, there for a cup of coffee. Orient Express, the same. They're okay, but then you know, Volkov, Nikolai Volkov was basically past his best. So yeah, the only 2 was Santana and Sergeant Slaughter. And by the way, Slaughter will win the WWF title the following year at the Royal Rumble, really 2 months later. And that's another story for another time. So moving on to the main event. The main event is all the survivors who won their previous Survivor Series match on the show. I'll get to why it failed later on. So, representing, I'll call it the Hulkamania team. So, the survivors for the babyfaces are Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, and Tito Santana. Taking on the heels are Ted DiBiase, Senior, the $1 Million Man, Rick the Model Martel, Powers of Glory, and the Wardlord. Yeah, Wardlow got eliminated. I'm gonna keep saying Wardlow from AEW. I think I said Wardlow, the Wardlord. So yeah, he got eliminated by Tito Santana. Santana got eliminated by Ted DiBiase Sr. Hit like the stun gun. So it led to Hogan and Warrior it's basically just typical superheroes being the super baddies. This is something like John Cena will never do. Super Cena eliminated 9 people. He did. Until SummerSlam of 2010. Anyway, so I think Rick the Model Martel got counted out, and I think Powers of Glory got eliminated. I think it was Paul Roman got eliminated by Hogan by a clothesline. DiBiase, I was shocked. He got eliminated second last. I thought he got eliminated last. He got eliminated by Hogan by the leg drop, and then I think Warrior eliminated Hercules, with a Warrior splash. So Hogan and Warrior are the joint two solo survivors of this team. Yeah, this match sucked. Similar to the Alliance versus Mercenaries match. At least you got some star power of the main event, but this, I'm glad they've never done it ever again, because I give WWF some props, trying to do this. The winner of that Survivor Series match will advance into the main event. I think they tried, but it failed. It got short time. I think they got 9 minutes. Some of these matches got about 10, 15, and 20 minutes. The one match they should have scrapped has to be the Alliance versus Mercenary match, the previous Survivor Series match on the show. Because it's just lack of goofy characters, or really wrestlers are so past their prime, or wrestlers are not in their prime. So Hogan and Warrior, the rumors they're going for the rematch for WrestleMania 7. For unfortunately, plans change. They fought again in WCW, Halloween Havoc 98. Another story for another time. Like I said, Warrior will drop the World Wrestling Federation title to Sergeant Slaughter after the distraction by Randy Savage, who's not on the show. Yeah, he was on the show, but he's cutting a promo, but not in a match. He was a heel at the time. It's set up like a feud between Warrior and Savage in the at WrestleMania 7. So anyway, so DiBiase, DiBiase was still around. He was feuding with Virgil. I'm talking about the storylines going into 2021. Undertaker will win his first world title in 1991 to be at the following year's Survivor Series, and also kicked off the legendary streak of 1991. He was a heel the first year, and then after, in late 91 and early 92, he'll be a babyface. He'll be a heel until forming the Ministry of Darkness. So anyway, so my final rating for Survivor Series 1990, boy, I have to go with 4 out of 10. This is similar. I reviewed last night. I reviewed Mayhem 2000. Like, you got 2 matches. Most of them are just bad, inconsistent shows. Is it a bad show? No. Is it a good show? Not really. It's just basically a show. It's just memorable for the debut of The Undertaker. And, I'm not going to the Gobbledygook. That's bad. I put it in the bad. The 2 matches on the good has to be the Perfect Team versus the Warriors, and Dream Team versus the $1 Million Dream Team. Sorry. They were decent, but not like, oh wow, I need to watch that. They were decent, but they're not show-stealing matches. Some of these matches were okay, like Vipers versus the Visionaries and the Hulkamaniacs and the Natural Disasters. They're okay, slightly okay, but not like bad. The only 2 bad matches on the show has to be the Alliance versus the Mercenaries, and also the main event. They did try, but it backfired. I'm glad they didn't do this ever again in WWE. That's Hulkamaniacs, or Hogan, Warrior, and Santana taking on DiBiase, Martel, Powers of Glory, and the Wardlord. Man, that's I'm glad they never did it again. Anyway, so that's my review of Survivor Series 1990. Hope you enjoyed my review of it. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, smash the like button, and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Next time, I'm trying to get away from the golden period of pro wrestling, WWE / the Hulkamania era of the 80s and 90s, or early 90s. Let's go to the Attitude Era. I'm still keeping the Survivor Series train going all of this month. I'm going to review a mysterious Attitude Era Survivor Series show. You have to wait until next week to find out. So, this is the Central Man officially signing out. Survivor Series 1990. It wasn't a bad show. It wasn't a good show, but it was just a show with really one of the best debuts in pro wrestling history.